Welcome to Legally Speaking. This is a continuation of the last episode where we had someone from the Law Student Society talk about his plans for the LSS. Now, today we are going to proceed to another candidate. Her name is Bukunmi Challenge Adekunle, and you are going to listen to her about what her plans are for the Law Student Society of UI. And allow me to introduce Bukunmi.
Okay. Thank you so much for having me. My name is Bukunmi Challenge Adekunle, and I am a third-year law student at the University of Ibadan. I have served in various capacities in the Law Student Society. I was Assistant General Secretary of the Law Student Society in 2022-2023 session, and I currently serve as the General Secretary of the Faculty of Law, Literary and Debating Society, as well as the Deputy Head of the LSS Scale-Up Committee. I am passionate about student leadership, public speaking, and youth development. I am currently vying for the position of President of the Law Student Society, and I am here today to share my vision for the society with us all. Thank you.
So, thank you for that. Now, I would like to ask you a question I love to ask everybody, which is, why are you running?
Okay.
Why exactly? What motivated you to want to feel like this is the next thing? Like we should go for the LSS presidency?
Okay. So, first off, I would like to point out that I can't say that there was an eureka moment, a light bulb moment when I decided that, okay, I'm running for LSS president. I have been deeply involved in the Law Student Society for the past 3 years that I've been a student. When I was in the 100 level, I ran for Assistant General Secretary of the Law Student Society. And at the time when I ran, I didn't particularly know so much about the society. I just wanted to make a difference in my own way, right?
Yeah.
And I contested for AGS, I won, and I got the opportunity to work with other ESCOs, to interact with students on a student leader level, and to interact with the faculty management. And working as AGS offered a lot of insight into the unique dynamic of the Law Student Society. I think one thing I've learned is that we operate a very unique system in the LSS. It's not like many other students' organizations in the school. We have quite unique dynamics, and I think that's with regard to the fact that we are law students and there are certain standards and codes that's expected of us. So me running is based on the experience that I've had working as AGS rather, and gaining insight into the dynamics that obtain in the Law Student Society, the immense potential that we have for growth, of course, and the gaps that we need to be filled, that we have in society that need to be filled. So I am running from an informed perspective because I have been a student. I understand the challenges that come with being a student. I have been a leader. I understand the challenges that come with bringing the vision that you have for an organization to life, while also managing the challenges that come with student leadership and, of course, relating with faculty management. And all of these things have culminated into me choosing to run for president of the society because I know the things that obtain, I know the things that work, I know the things that will drive us from where we are right now to where we want to be. So that's why I'm running, basically.
Yeah, that's interesting. Bukunmi, you're going to agree with me that the Law Student Society has gone a long way.
Yes.
And not
yes.
limited to like UI, but generally.
Uh-huh.
Now, I want to ask you, how do you think you can move the Law Student Society from where we are even forward?
Okay. So yes, I would agree with you. The LSS has come a really long way. I mean, the Law Student Society is going to be 40 next year. And
Wow.
the LSS that we had at the beginning is not what we have right now.
Exactly.
We have improved tremendously. I have been in contact with a couple of past presidents. There's President Suji Adegunle that was president in 2005-2006 session. There is President Oyinda Mola Abdul Fatai. I think that was about 4 or 5 sessions ago. I can't really remember. There's also President Ajewale, and I've had conversations with them. And I've come to see that we have grown tremendously. And I am so proud of all of our past leaders who have worked so hard to bring us to where we are now. But yes, there's always room for growth. And I am ready to build on the legacy that the past leaders have laid down. My campaign is based on the Stellar Agenda. And Stellar has 7 letters, 6 letters, but we have STELLAR.
Yeah.
Now, S stands for Student Welfare and Support. T stands for Technology and Innovation. E stands for Educational Enhancement. The first L stands for Leadership and Development Opportunities. The second L stands for Legacy and Community. Then A stands for accountability, accessibility, and inclusion. And then R stands for recreation and health. Now, the crux of my manifesto, my campaign, is based on this 7 point agenda. But for the sake of time, I'll just be touching on a couple of things that I believe would move the society forward. So first off, if elected as president, I plan to integrate a solar utility into the law student secretariat, and that includes the common room. We know that for the last couple of months, the electricity supply in the University of Ibadan has been erratic, so to speak. It has not been particularly stable. I mean, it was quite stable while I was in my first year, but it's not like that anymore. And a major part of our productivity as law students is constant power supply. We have assignments to work on, we have interviews, we have projects, we have group assignments. I know there is this joke that people make online that if you are not online for 3 hours, your classmates might graduate
Yeah, that's
before you
true.
come online. And that emphasizes the importance of being available, right? And we need internet connection for that. Most especially, we need power supply. And I believe that integrating solar utility into the LSS secretariat would solve the problem of erratic power supply. Now, I understand that the LLT has a solar utility, but this is only for people who are there at that particular moment and can leave their phones to charge. Your phones are plugged at owner's risk in that place. And sometimes another class might have a class and you'll not be able to sit there to watch over your phone. But the common room is a place for relaxation. It's a place where law students can just go in, sit down, work on whatever they're working on, do some light studying, just relax in between classes. The secretariat is also open for all. In the secretariat, we have laptops that we use to work. We have the printer, and all of these things require electricity to get them running. So the integration of a solar utility into the secretariat would, one, is managerial operations, would improve managerial and administrative operations for the secretariat. And two, ensure that when students need power supply that is not available in the faculty or in the school, they can always go to the common room and get that running. So yeah, that's the first thing. Secondly, I plan to promote transparency rather by introducing a monthly financial record system. Now, a problem that the LSS has had over the years is that we've always had problem with record keeping, and because of that, it makes it seem like there's mismanagement when essentially the integral problem that we face is record keeping. And that is a problem that I intend to solve. So I intend to work with the Office of the Financial Secretary to set up a monthly financial record system. And this record system will contain a list of receipts for transactions that have been carried out by the Executive Council in that month, expenditure, income, receipt of purchases, and payments made. And this will be presented to the Law Students Representative Council, the House, and by extension to the LSS at large. So this would improve trust in the administration. It will promote transparency and accountability. And it will ease the work of the audit committee, because the audit committee works on the record for financial records at the end of every semester. Okay. And they have to get records for all the things that the LSS has spent money on. But it might be hard tracking these things. But when we have a proper system in place, okay, for the month of February, we already have a list. We already have a record of everything we spent money on. For the month of March, we already have a record of everything we spent money on. The audit committee can just use this to track the expenses, right? Yes. So I think this would be a major shift in improving our record keeping in the society. Furthermore, I intend to secure faculty spaces for tutorials. A problem that I know that we've also had for a while is securing spaces for our tutorials, our academic tutorials. I believe you'd agree with me. I'm not sure if you've been attending tutorials for your class, but most of our tutorials are in places like, let's say, social sciences, just other spaces that are not particularly conducive. And sometimes people who own these places, they might have to use their resources and would have to leave. If elected, my administration would collaborate with the faculty management to secure a dedicated space for tutorials. And we will take full responsibility for the management to ensure that the resources are well managed, the facilities are properly taken care of, and nothing is spoiled, nothing is missing, nothing is broken. So I believe that this would go a long way in ensuring that we have a more conducive environment for learning. And our students don't have to keep going from pillar to post when they're searching for when we have tutorials. So these are a couple of plans that I have in place. There are so much more. Like I said, it's based on a 7-point agenda. But for sake of brevity, I'll not be able to speak about all of them on here. I would urge listeners to be present at the manifesto night where I'll be sharing in detail the plans that I have for the Law Student Society.
Yeah, okay. That's awesome. But I would like to hear what your plans are towards students' academic growth and personal development,
Okay.
professional growth as well as, or as the case may be.
Okay. So I recognize that the essence of most student administrations is to promote academic and professional growth. And this is particularly applicable in a faculty like law, where our students are known for being high achievers. We are known for being high flyers. We are known for excelling in academics, in professional development. And I have plans in place for this. First of all, I'll be building on what the current administration did at the beginning of the session by providing internship opportunities for law students. So I am currently speaking with a couple of law firms, which my administration would write to once elected, would request internship slots from these law firms. And then we'll put out a call among law students, calling for people who are interested in internship positions. So we'll be posting law students to these law firms. Of course, regard will be given to location and proximity and all of that. So for example, let's say we have Afe Babalola in Adamasingba. Any student who is close to that area will be posted to that law firm. We are looking at doing this in Ibadan and Lagos because we know we have quite a number of students that will be going home for the holidays in Lagos and want to keep themselves busy. We would also be working with the faculty administration. Of course, the faculty will be quite pivotal in that kind of plan. We would work with them to possibly speak with these law firms based on personal relationships, and it just boosts credibility of what we plan to do. So I believe that would aid immensely in professional growth of law students, because it's one thing to come to class and learn, it's another thing to actually practice and get real life experience, right? Yep. So that's first. Secondly, when I was AGS, I facilitated the building of an LSS library, a mini library rather. We wrote to various publishers and we requested donations of textbooks, and we got quite a number of books. I believe we got about 50 textbooks across all classes, from 100 to 500 level students, 400 to 500 level classes rather. And these books are from the LSS mini library. So currently it is in place, and students borrow books from there for a particular period of time and return. For students who cannot afford textbooks, or students who want to carry textbooks out of the library but need hard copies. So I understand that this has been a very valuable resource in the Law Student Society, but there is always room for improvement. We do not have enough copies of these textbooks, and I plan to work once more with these publishers based on the existing relationship that I have formed with them, work with these publishers, get more copies of these textbooks so that we can expand our LSS library, and also gain textbooks on emerging areas of law. Now, law is a quite dynamic course, right? Yeah. And it keeps evolving. We have so many underutilized areas now, or underexplored areas. We have sports law, we have technology law, we have intellectual property law, we have entertainment law. And I have made research. I have found a list of publishers that offer textbooks on the various courses. For example, there is sports law in Nigeria. I think that's published by Princeton Publishers. Okay. So I am working towards requesting donations of these particular books so that the LSS library will not be filled with just books for conventional legal methods, criminal law, but also textbooks for students who want to learn on emerging areas of law, right? Yeah. Especially for our 500 level students, there are so many of them that their topics are based on intellectual property, sports, and all of this. And these textbooks will serve as essential resource materials for them. Another plan that I intend to put in place, if elected as president, is to obtain a law report subscription system for law students. I have contacted a couple of prominent law reports publishers, such as Judy Legal, such as Law Pavilion, such as NWLR, with a view to securing either a subsidized rate or getting the Law Student Society to sponsor it, right? Okay. So we know that most of these platforms, you have to pay to access their reports. I think Judy Legal is about 3,000 per month. I'm not quite sure. We have payment plans for Law Pavilion. We have payment plans for NWLR. So I am working to secure a subsidized rate for UI law students. Okay. Or if it is something we can work with, get funding and cover the cost completely so that students can have free access to it. because law reports are an essential part of what we do in the law student society. We'll have to read up on cases, we'll have to read up on court judgments, we'll have to use this to form our notes. Not all of our textbooks have these cases. And most of these cases online, you'd have to pay to access them. And this sort of forms a learning gap because there will be some pivotal information in those cases that we might not have access to. But when we have access to a report system, a law report system that students can access at a subsidized cost or for free, so to speak, it would it will improve accessibility, right? Yeah. It will improve the rate of learning. And I am saying subsidized or free because I strongly believe that in promising things that are feasible. I do not believe in listing out so many plans that I might not be able to bring to life. Mm-hmm. And I know that what is feasible right now is possibly securing a subsidized amount for law students or possibly getting them for free after the Law Student Society foots the bill. So, of course, that would depend on the rates that we are given by these publishers. So, I am waiting for feedback from them. And that is something I am looking to implement in my administration. Likewise, I would work with the Office of the PRO to establish an LSS YouTube channel. Now, there are a couple of students that do not necessarily gain so much from lecturers when lecturers are teaching in class. Some of them do not pay so much attention. Some of them learn better when it is a peer-to-peer teaching system, right? Mm. And this is what I hope to implement with the LSS YouTube channel. So the LSS YouTube channel would feature crash courses on various topics across certain courses that we know are dicey. For example, we know that commercial transactions is a course that many students find very dicey in 300 level. And there are some of the topics there that they do not quite understand even when the lecturer teaches. And there are a couple of students in higher classes that understand these topics. I mean, they've been there, they've worked the work, and they understand these topics. So getting these people to possibly offer a 10, 15 minute explanation on these topics would go a long way. First of all, it promotes peer-to-peer teaching. Secondly, it provides a legacy, sort of, because these videos will always be on YouTube, and students can always go there. Even if I record it right now when I'm in 300 level, the incoming 300 level will also benefit from it. Right? Yep. So that is something that I also plan to implement. These are a couple of plans that I believe would move forward the academics and professional aspect of life of law students. And again, there are so many of them that we still have in store. This is just a tip of the iceberg. And the Stellar Agenda has so much in place for the Law Student Society. And that is why I want every law student to be at the manifesto night so they can get more insight into the plans that we have.
That's a lot, actually. You've actually said a lot, to be honest. Okay, I think what I would like to ask you is this. You mentioned that you were an AGS in the LSS, right?
Yes.
And even apart from that, I'm sure you must have been in several leadership positions across different boards and stuff. Uh-huh. Are there particular leadership challenges you faced and then you were able to accomplish, to overcome at the end of the day? What are some of them that
Yes. I have faced quite a number of leadership challenges within the couple of years I have served as a student leader. And that's quite ironic concerning my name is Challenge, but it's okay. So I was AGS, as you rightly said, last session. That was 2022-2023 session. And I believe that our administration did remarkably well. But there were a whole lot of challenges that we faced in the background that students were not privy to. And I think let me just speak on two of them. First off, a leadership challenge that we faced at that time was securing approval for some of our events from faculty. Now, the way the LSS works is that when you have plans as an administration, you present them to the faculty management for vetting and approval before you then present to the Law Students Representative Council for approval. Mm-hmm. Now, approval has to come from higher up first. That's the faculty management before the LSRC, Law Students Representative Council. And at the beginning of our administration, we had significant challenge navigating that. There were so many times that we'd present proposals for our events, our initiatives with the faculty management, and they would refuse it. They would ask us to go work on something. They would give their feedbacks. And at first, it was quite frustrating because I understand that these people have the best interest of students at heart, but I also recognize the fact that there is a generational gap between us. I mean, we are Gen Zs, and the faculty management are much older people who see things in a different way. They are more used to the conventional methods of doing things, and so any avenue for change might come as strange to them that they might try to resist. But thankfully, we were able to navigate through this, and we worked on this by going back to the drawing board, incorporating the suggestions and feedbacks that we got from faculty management, approaching our staff advisors for suggestions on what to do before going back to the higher bodies to present our proposal again, right? And being politically correct. Because one thing I've learned from that experience is that it's not so much what you want to do, but how you couch it to them.
Okay.
There is a way you would say it, present it to the faculty management that would seem appealing to them, right? So you are communicating it in a different way to them. You are communicating it in a different way to students. You are using different language, but essentially you are driving at the same thing. So I think I learned the importance of being politically correct. It was quite challenging for me at the time because before then, I was just used to working with fellow students and not necessarily having to get approval from higher bodies. But I was faced with a new dynamic at the time. I had to reconcile the plans that I had promised the students with getting approval. And that made me understand the importance of diplomacy. So as much as it is really good that you have great plans and you want to bring them to life and you've promised the Law Student Society so many things, it is equally important that you understand diplomacy, how to present these plans to the higher up bodies, that's the faculty management, how to navigate challenges, how to tackle the objections that they will give, right? And it all boils down to political correctness. So I am so grateful that I went through that because that is an invaluable skill I've learned that will be essential for me when I become president. I mean, I know what the faculty management would approve. I know what they would not. I know how to present things to them that will make them more inclined. I know how to get their support on certain initiatives and projects. And I am a big advocate of working with faculty management. As much as I believe in student leadership and all of that, I recognize the fact that there's so much more you can do when you have the backing of the higher authorities. And I recognize that fact. Because if you've painted yourself in a bad way to them and they start to see you as a rebel or somebody that is how to just undermine their power, there's nothing you bring to them that they would approve.
Will fly. Yes.
And that's where diplomacy comes in. And I'm so grateful that I went through the experience because I have a very good relationship with the faculty management right now. And I understand what obtains. And this lesson that I've learned will be quite invaluable for me when negotiating the plans that we have for the Law Student Society when I become president. So that is one challenge. And the second challenge is a personal one this time. So there was a particular initiative that I was in charge of when I was AGS. And we had to present the proposal to the Law Students Representative Council, that's the LSRC. And the proposal got rejected. Now, it was quite personal for me because I worked on the proposal. And that was an initiative that I really wanted to bring to life. And this was towards the tail end of our administration. So there was not much time left. And I was frustrated, to be honest, because I reworked the proposal the first time. I worked it the second time. It still got rejected. I remember at some point complaining to the president that, oh my God, I'm tired. I don't know what to do. What do these people want from me and all of that? But I knew what I wanted to do. And I knew that I had to make it work. So I had to pull all the strings that I could. I went to technical experts on that field, got suggestions from them. I spoke with members of the Law Student Representative Council on the things they would have wanted to see in that proposal, on suggestions for improvement, right? Okay. And I reworked it and I took it back to them and it got approved. Oh. And that experience has taught me the importance of collaboration and incorporating feedback. Because the executive council will not be the only one doing all of these things. I mean, I'm going to be president and I'm going to be the head of the executive council. But we cannot negate the impact and influence that the Law Students Representative Council have, as well as other arms like the judiciary. Shout out to the LSRC, by the way. Shout out to the Law Students Representative Council. So I understand the impacts that collaborating with these bodies would have on my administration because it's a collective effort. I'm not going to do it alone, right? So that made me learn about the importance of incorporating feedback, incorporating suggestions that have been given, and most importantly, having a strong driving force. Now, I know that everybody has great plans, right? Everybody has amazing plans for the Law Student Society. We all want to see the Law Student Society grow and develop and all of that. But in times when things become hard, in times when probably you have issues with funding, in times when you have issues with securing approval from the faculty, in times when you have issues with getting your budget approved or getting your proposal approved by the Law Student Representative Council, in times when law students themselves start to call your credibility to question, what's going to happen? What are you going to fall back on? Are you just going to say, oh, I've tried my best, I beg, no kill me, and you just give up? On days like this, it is your motivating force for running in the first place and choosing to serve in the first place that will be your driving force. When you know that everything you are doing is felt by a strong sense of devotion and commitment to these people, there is nothing that leadership would throw at you that you'll not be able to navigate, right? That is one important lesson I learned from the past president, the president before the current president, that's Kikiola Babalola. There are so many times that we faced numerous challenges while we were serving in the LSS. And it would be like, oh, we can't do this, let's just forget about it. But it really took where there is a will, there is a way seriously. And I think that is when I witnessed firsthand the immense potential that the Law Student Society has and the possibilities that exist when you have a leadership that really cares about the society and is committed to making things work, regardless of challenges that they face. So on days when you have issues, when you have challenges, or when you have issues with your own personal life that interfere with the things you're supposed to do, what's going to keep you going? What's going to keep you running? What's going to be your motivating factor? And that is why, as much as I know that I am credible, I am competent, and I have the track record of experience that makes me fit to be president of the Law Student Society, the most defining quality for me is the true sense of devotion and commitment that I have for students, right? Mm-hmm. And this comes from an informed perspective. It is not just something that I woke up in and said, oh, today I decided to be committed to the LSS. No, it comes from actually walking the walk. I have walked the walk. I understand what obtains, right? And regardless of the challenges that I know come with leadership, the sense of commitment and devotion that I have imbibed towards the Law Student Society is my biggest driving force. And that's what is going to keep me going when I'm president.
Those are a lot of challenges for someone that's named challenge, actually.
Yes, like I said.
So let me I think this will be the final question from me, which is this. What is the last word you want for people that are watching? Most people that are going to watch this are going to be law students.
Yes.
Who we have this opportunity to hear from you. Mm-hmm. So what do you want to give them as like a last maybe statement or whatever?
Okay. So, esteemed law students, my fellow learning colleagues, I understand that we are approaching a pivotal time in our society where we have to choose the next set of leaders. And while I understand that some of us might have picked a side, some of us might be sitting on the fence, some of us might not even have interest in LSS affairs or politics at all, I'll leave us with this. I understand the uniqueness that comes with being president of a society like the Law Student Society. I understand the dynamics that come with leading a society as diverse as ours. And I intend to be president for both the students who are academically inclined as well as students who are sports inclined. I will be president for the entrepreneurs. I will be president for the creatives. I will be president for the tech-savvy people. I will be president for students who still feel like they are charting their course in the faculty and have not specifically found their footing yet. So from the 100-level student that is taking art and social sciences courses to the 300-level student that is struggling with CT and thought, to the final year student that is preparing for life outside these worlds, my goal as president is to make sure that every single one of us feels like they're an integral member of the Law Student Society. I want to make you feel like you are a major stakeholder in the society's success and not just a spectator. So I urge you all to choose leadership that is based on proven record, that is based on competence, that is based on credibility, and most importantly, that is based on a strong sense of devotion and commitment to the affairs of the Law Student Society. You are the LSS, I am the LSS, and I cannot do this alone. So I call on every Law Student Society to challenge the future with me and work with me to build a stellar society for us all. Thank you.
So law students, you have heard from Bukunmi Challenge, Adekunle, and she has told you her plans for the Law Student Society if she becomes president. So on the next episode of Legally Speaking, we are going to be having one more candidate, and that will be a wrap to this series. Thank you very much